Hello friends, this is Scott, and for my last two videos that I showed you, I've been out planting, and I still have more planting to do for my summer vegetables, but I'm out here taking a break. It's almost dark, and I'm sitting in front of my 3-bin compost system, which will be a video I'm going to do tomorrow. Is this time? I've been spending the last few weeks building the first and second bins up, so I have enough volume. I talked a lot about hot compost and about having the right volume to make hot compost, but then not having too much volume so that we end up having possibly a spontaneous combustion. So anyway, Willow's with me, as well as all the other cats around also. But yeah, it's a beautiful evening, nice and cool. I was thinking of having a fire, but I'm kind of tired. I think I'll just go in and watch a little YouTube maybe and drink some water because I'm kind of dehydrated. But yeah, tomorrow is I'm going to come out here and I'm going to plant some more of the summer vegetables, more of the squashes and the winter squash and those types of things. But first I'm going to turn these bins. And again, the first and the second bin over here are all full, and they shrunk down. And I'll show you the temperature. That they've all, one of them's about 100 degrees, one's about 110 degrees. And then once I turn the bins, I'll turn the second into the third, the first into the second, and then I've just got a few leaves left in the in the first plastic ring. The cows have been in there, and I'll show you some of that. They've eaten most of it, so got enough to get started anyway. But I need to mow, so I'll have some more nitrogen, but I'm kind of out of browns. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that at this point. If you use grass clippings that turn brown, it works, but there's just no volume to it. So again, I'll make as much compost as I can this year. And then just, again, next winter, I got to collect leaves because it's very important that I have more leaves because I'm already out. It's June 1st, so my compost year is, yeah, I'm gonna get some good compost out of these 2 bins here, but yeah, not much else. I do have what's in the, don't bite me. I do have what's in the chicken yard. The new chickens are digging down pretty deep, digging holes and looking for the grain that I've been throwing in there and layering. So I do have that to screen, and then I'll take that material and I'll throw that in the first bin. So I'll clean out the chicken coop too. So that'll be good. I'm not gonna let the chickens out for maybe a week. I want them to know their home before I let them roam the yard with as I do the other older chickens. So yeah, that'll be coming. So it's been nice. I've got a half dozen eggs in the fridge, and it's been very good. But yeah, so now it's time to flip the bins, and then what I'll do is once it cools down again, it'll heat up again for a little bit. It won't get as hot as it did the first time, but once I mix all those ingredients, all those layers, then add water, and then the air by turning, it'll all heat up again, and it'll maybe get 120, 130. We'll check it and see how hot it gets. But like I say, right now it's mellow. It's down to the right temperature. It's kind of dried out quite a bit, so I do need to add quite a bit of moisture. So yeah, again, no spontaneous combustion. Everything was good. So we'll get all those things flipped, and I'll show you how to do that tomorrow. And then after that, I'll just be waiting for it to turn into compost. And then I may flip it back and forth a few times, but then I'll screen it. And whatever goes through the screen, I'll use in the garden, which I definitely need right now, tremendously. And what doesn't screen is I'll just throw back into the second or the first bin, and just that'll keep breaking down. So anyway, again, a beautiful night. I thought I'd do an intro to the video tonight because it's going to be hot. It's going to be another, 80-something degrees, and then we're going to have a little bit of cooling trend. We have to get down to the 70s, which will be perfect for the plants I've transplanted, because they'll give them a little time to get established. Again, we go from 58, 60 degrees, and then the next thing you know, it's 90 degrees. So that's really hard on transplants, especially seedlings that you've grown yourself in the house, if they haven't been hardened off very well. And I have not had many days to harden off my plants, just a couple. So I'm not going to plant the squashes tonight. I'm going to let them have another night of getting used to it, have a little bit of sunlight in the morning, and then I'll leave them. And then in the evening again, when it gets cooler, I'll plant those, water them in really good, and then hopefully with that cooler temperatures coming in the next few days, hopefully that'll help them survive. If not, I'll just have to plant in ground. This cat is getting crazy. Get out. Anyway, thanks for watching my videos. I appreciate it. I just got to 850 subscribers, and again, my goal is 1,000, and that was what I was going to do no matter come hell or high water when I started this channel. And yeah, I'm almost, I shouldn't say almost, but I'm getting there. And this is my hobby, and for people that like my videos, I really appreciate you. And yeah, I hope my channel will grow. I have no illusions of grandeur here, but I'm just showing you what a real homestead of one right now is doing down here. And mostly petting cats. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow morning, and or whenever morning is. I sleep in a little bit because I should get up because it's nice and cool. But yeah, I'll get up and I'll turn some compost in the heat of the day, and then we'll do some more planting tomorrow night. So anyway, well, thanks for watching my videos, and yeah, we're gonna flip the bins tomorrow. See you tomorrow. So it's the next morning-ish, and yeah, take a look at the temperature before we start flipping these piles. First bin, temperature is right below 100 degrees, 99, 98 degrees, so it's nice and cooled down. And look at the second one, and that one's a little hotter. It is about 110, 110. So yeah, that bin's still, fairly active, but it's time. Now this materials have been baking in the sun, it's been hot, and so they're really dry. So it's kind of critical that I get everything moistened up as I flip these bins. Now the cows, though, yeah, they just continue to get into my leaves, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. I don't have many leaves left, so this will be one of the last views you see of these cows in this video because yeah, they're going to freezer camp, and they took off, I think, the next morning. But there's a back view of the bins, and you see the layers before I turn, and so that kind of gives you a better idea of kind of how that's layered up. It gives you a better look. And then here we go. And I did bring my manure fork or my hay fork down from Salt Lake. And as you see, I've turned lots of compost with this, and I've abused this. So yeah, I've got a few bent tines, but it's definitely the tool to use for this project, rather than the shovel, which is all I had the last time when I turned the first bin. But anyway, love my 3-bin system with the removable slats, because you just, again, remove them when you need to get to the materials. And yeah, it makes it really easy access just to flip it from bin to bin. And when you have all the slats in, they hold the material in real nice. But one thing about turning in with a fork is you have to kind of pry the material off each time. So it's a little bit of a pain. But you notice there that material is really dry. And again, it takes all the elements to make compost. It takes brown, green, air, and water. And all this dry material is not going to do anything until it gets wet. So it's one of the main things I'm going to do here as I'm flipping this bin is making sure I get plenty of water in here. Now the bottom does tend to get a little anaerobic, so be prepared for that. The bottom layers will get kind of slimy, but that's why I usually put brown on the bottom to help soak up some of that water. But yeah, you need to keep it moist, and yeah, if you're going to get that heat going again. Again, this compost bin, or these 2 bins, will heat up again, but they will not probably get as hot as they did the first time, but we shall see. This is the first time I'm flipping all the materials together, mixing it all. Normally I do it 1 bin at a time, but as we discussed in my previous videos, it took me several weeks to get the right amount of volume in these bins to finally get up to temperature. And then once I got up to temperature, then I filled the bins all the way up, and then we're ready to flip them now that they've cooled back down. Again, no spontaneous combustion occurred. Yeah, that's good. We talked about that in one of my previous video. I think it was the 3rd video in this kind of series of videos. But anyway, I'm going to do one video at the end of this year that does puts the main components of all these videos together. But that'll be so it'll make it easier to just to kind of see the whole process at once. But yeah, it's just this is where the work is. And again, I'm not using big clumpy, viney stuff in these compost bins, but because I am, using layers, the layers are sticking together, and it makes it a little bit harder once it's all mixed together. It gets a little easier as it turns more into soil-like material. But yeah, I just want to make sure I get the water in here, and I'm trying to turn all the materials from the inside to get the material on the inside to the outside, and vice versa, outside to the inside. Get it all mixed up nice, get the air in there, and then wet her down, and then hopefully these piles will heat up and will continue to break down rapidly and make lots of compost. Now, I wish I did have like a 5-bin system. Would be perfect for this, but using this type of materials, grass and leaves and materials like that, they don't have the volume, they break down. So if I had a 5-bin system, literally I would have little material. If I was to flip it, 2 more bins, there would be hardly anything left probably. So anyway, but it does make great stuff. And, we're almost ready to get to the point where we could add some worms. But now there's in the middle of the pile, and you see that's the material that's been baked, and it's breaking down. So that's getting close to being compost. So yeah, there will be screamable compost here in the next month. But again, the cows are leaving, and this will be the last time you see them in a video. And this is their last meal, I guess. So the 2 right there with the big one and the one with the green tag are gone. So getting down at the bottom, and it is getting a little slimy down there. But again, that material will end up on top, and then it'll dry out. So it'll all work itself out. But yeah, this is work. A lot of people think that making compost is just too much work, and I can agree with them on a hot day. But it's the only way you're going to make the best compost you can make. That's pretty much weed, seed, and pathogen free, because it has been heated up, and that heat would have killed everything. Well, like usual, I tend to break stuff, and so yeah. I was trying to straighten a tine out, and yeah, the handle didn't cooperate with me. So, but I kind of created a new little invention here. If I don't stab myself with the end of that stick, but that worked fairly decent. I don't like having to stoop over, but that was a little bit more efficient than using that big long-handled hay rakes or hay forks. So yeah, it works fairly decent. But again, I gotta cut that end off before I stab myself. So there's the first bin, or the second bin flipped into the third bin, all piled up, and we've got an empty bin. So I've got to do that one more time. And again, the slats come out, makes it really nice, and to be able to get to the materials. So get going on the second flip, and that's the first bin to the second bin. And again, putting the slats back in to hold the material, and then I'll start removing them from the first bin, and we'll get going on getting this bin turned also. As I'm removing the slats from the first bin, I want to remind you that if you want to freshen up an old bin, you just go buy yourself some cedar fence slats, cut them to size, and you've got a new front. It looks pretty sharp. You can also take some food grade mineral oil and wipe down the front of those 2x6s, and that can make it look really shiny and nice too. So yeah, these bins last a long time. Again, this bin is probably, 13 to 15 years old. I built it for the school garden, and then I just brought it here when they weren't using it properly, and the principal wanted to get rid of it. So yeah, it'll last me more years, and sooner or later I'll build myself a new one. But yeah, why when I've got something that's functional? So anyway, start moving the material. I'm just using my hands at this point. It makes it a little simpler than that broken hay fork that I've got, but I've got to water everything in good, and I'll do a little speed moving in materials, and yeah, again, I'm just flipping a good amount, and then just wetting it in, because I want this whole thing to be moist. Once it's moist, this thing will really start to decompose, and yeah, this compost is going to be great stuff. I want to show you kind of the mix though. We've got really dry material in there. We've got and then we've got some really moist material in the middle. So yeah, we need to get all this mixed together. So yeah, that's why the turning is important, as well as to add oxygen and to add water to make sure that the whole system is engaged. There's another look at the innards of the pile that were baked, and they dried out, but they're just, they bake gray. So I left a little bit in the bottom, and just to keep some of that biological activity going on. And there's the two bins turned, and they are heaping, but they won't last very long heaping. They'll shrink down as they break down. But again, I'm going to put my slats back, and I'm going to then start creating a new bin. I haven't mowed today, so I don't have any green to put in this bin. And also I need my green to be able to mulch some new plantings, because that's the only mulch I really have either. So right now the compost process is going to slow down, because again, I'm out of browns except for just what's in this remaining half bin or plastic bin. And next year, I need to get lots more leaves saved up, because again, it's only June 1st, and I could be making compost all the way into October, November, but now I'm stuck, because I'm out of material. So yeah, leaves are going to be a big thing for me to collect this year, and store them. And it's kind of an eyesore with all these bags of leaves, but so it's well worth it. Leaves can be used for many other purposes other than just in the compost. And I think as a general rule, you really can't have too many leaves. But yeah, just going to wet her in again, and then that'll be all I do with this bin for today until I mow again, and then I'll finish off those leaves and build this bin as full as I can get it. And yeah, so there we go, waiting for some more greens, and that's all the browns I have. The cows are gone, they're eating it, so we should have that many. But the worm bin's doing good, but it's dry too. And so here's a look at those two bins flipped, and I'll just take a walk all the way around so you can see all the sides. And again, no more of the lines. They're all the material is mixed together, and so this should heat up. Again, we'll see if it heats up as hot as it did the first time, which was well over, I got well over 160 degrees, but I think it won't get that hot on these two. But we'll see. I do need to water in the worms, because this is getting kind of dry. Again, this is all full of horse manure and cow manure from the pasture, and then I just topped it with leaves, and I brought my redworms down from Salt Lake. So I'm going to wet the material up top, because I want the worms to be close to the surface, so I can get to them and start adding them to this bin here in the next couple of weeks. So the next day I come out and look, and the outside bin was 120. And the inside bin is 122. So yeah, it's heating up already. So I bet the next couple of days that'll get up to probably 140 to 150. But there's the last of the two cows. The two bigger ones are gone. But there we go. That's as hard as and easy as flipping two bins in a hot compost system. And yeah. And Again, you can never find this kind of material. You've got to make it yourself. And again, it's free. You just got to put some elbow grease in and collect your raw materials, and you'll make the best compost that money cannot buy because you can't find it. Thanks for watching.